All right, we should be up and running now. Oh, goodness. I'm gonna have to fix everything now. Oh, no! My model is not talking correctly. I think... Okay, that looks a lot better. So I made some changes to my microphone. There we go. How about that? And maybe that? Okay, there we go. Loading away today. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, cutie. Head pats for you for starting the stream off with 5 membership gifts already. Alright, I might have to mess with the microphone for a few minutes because I think it's fixed now. I changed a lot of things about it. Including, oh goodness, the sensitivity on this thing is kind of insane. It's like, it's way different now. Like, I have to like make some pretty big adjustments. It's blown out a bit. That doesn't shock me. Alright, how about now? Maybe a little lower. How about that? Probably still too aggressive. Oh wait, I'm turning the wrong dial. There we go. How about that? No, that's still... How about this? Is that better? I think that is probably a reasonable amount of volume. And now my model does. There. Oh, okay. I'm gonna take a minute for this to all kind of sync back up again. I think... Okay, there we go. Now she's... I want her. Volume is now a bit low. Great. How about this? Does this work for everybody? And cutting out. Well, I also do have, like... What's that other thing? Because I had to change it for the condenser microphone, so, like, a lot of the volume settings got messed up. That's why I don't like having my microphone, because, like, audio is the hardest thing for me to adjust for. Like, I'd rather rebuild this entire OBS, like, graphic thing that you all see on screen than mess with my audio. Alright, let me take a look at the filters, just make sure they're still, like... Okay, I gotta probably adjust that. There we go. Hopefully that fixes it. We should be, like, kind of hopefully right around the right level now. Also, good morning, Gombek. I also see you there, Anna. I said good morning to you already, though. Okay. Alright. I think if I move this down a little lower, the model will almost talk correctly. Hi, Raven! Welcome to the stream! Hopefully, my model and my voice sound great. If they don't, let me know. Also, this pop filter is, like, basically useless to me. I'm taking it off the mic. Sorry if you hear a couple of weird sounds. I'm taking the pop filter off the microphone. And what I will replace it with is something else. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna get that other condenser microphone because it has like a little thing that slides over the microphone, and that I think is gonna help a lot. Good morning, Patron. Nah, I'm just trying to get it so that it's, like, normal and functional again. And then I wanted to chit-chat about what I did over the weekend, and then I wanted to finish planning out the schedule. And that's, like, kind of my goals for today. Okay, so I put the sock over the microphone, which is kind of also like a pop filter. So hopefully this will sound much better, and it like kind of takes the edge off of some of those like pa sounds. Let me know if that's better or worse, but everything should be hopefully better because I ran a bunch of updates and stuff like that. So it cannot possibly be a software issue. If there is anything wrong, it is going to be a hardware issue. Nuki, welcome to the stream. I guess while we get started, I could try to find like a nice photograph of me from the event. Give me 1 second here. I'll pull it up on the stream so you can all look. Now, this is all going to become a video, but I just thought it'd be fun to just show a couple of pictures. Let's find... Okay, that's a good one of me. I like that one. That one's silly. Okay, alright, we're going with that. So what is it? Then I have to full screen it. Yay, there it is. And then I have to tab back over here. And put it on display. Okay. It does rain one day. I will send you a microphone for... Aw, you don't have to. This is actually a good microphone. It's just, I think it's the audio DAC. I think it's the thing that it's plugged into that's causing me so much grief. Here is a picture of me in my wheelchair. We went to the Pride event yesterday. We had to travel to the Capitol. And I don't get a chance to really go to the Capitol too often. So this is a picture of me in front of the legislative building after the parade. And we found this set of stairs. And I know the picture is a little deceiving. I promise you, I didn't actually climb the stairs in my wheelchair. There is like a little ramp there. It's just hard to tell. It's like built into the stairs. So this was a fun photo of me. And Anna took this picture. Oh my goodness, I forgot the rules are still up. Hi, Angolian. Welcome to the stream. Angolan? I don't know if I said that right. You know what? Correct me if I'm wrong. Apologies if I did. Saul, welcome to the stream. Yeah, so this is what I wore. Obviously, I wore pink, blue, white to the event. I had a pink t-shirt with white text, a baby blue skirt. I also, obviously, my wheelchair is, you know, pink, white, blue, and then I had my backpack on as well. And then I got so many free goodies at the parade. It was so much fun. Viola, welcome to the stream. Peak Pastel Goth, thank you! Thank you, I'm so glad. Yes, I am trying to go for Pastel Goth without, like, overdoing it. But it's, like, kind of tough because it was a really warm day yesterday, right? So I needed to, like, dress for the weather, but then also try to pull off the semi-pastel goth look. And I think I just barely got away with it with the boots and the, like, bracelets and stuff. But, like, I don't have my hair dyed yet or anything, so, you know. Let me find another photo that would be good. Let me see if I can find something. It takes me a second because, like, I have to look through the photos. And I don't have a ton of photos. I have more videos than photos right now. Actually, where are the videos? I could pull a couple of those up, actually. Let me find one from the event. All of this is gonna get edited into a video, but I'm kind of just, like, doing a little preview for everybody today. Rain, if you heard my Japanese name, would you mispronounce it? There is a good chance I could mispronounce any name from any language. I am not good at pronunciation. I'm not even gonna sit here and pretend I'm good at pronunciation. Let's see here. Let me see if I can find one that's good. I don't know if that pulled up properly on screen. It did not. Of course it didn't. Why would it work? I'm also going to mute the volume on this because it's going to be pretty loud. Okay, so switch it to... So what is it? Just open a new window each time? That's lovely. All right, cool. And then I could just hit the play button from here, right? Yay! So here are some horsies. They started off the parade. So the police horses went through, and this was like the very start of the parade. And then after these horses went through, that's when the actual event started. There was actually a decent amount of people here. We were already like almost at the end of like the parade like line, like just a little bit towards like the end of the street. So not like too much there. I also don't want to show off like all the footage because I want to leave a reason for like some of y'all to do it. But I do want to show a couple clips of some cool things. Let's see here. What was a really fun one? I'm going to try to pull it up from these previews, but it's kind of tough. I think maybe this one. No, that wasn't it. Let's try... Maybe this? Alright, this one will do. Zainub, welcome to the stream! The best compliment I remember is when I pronounced the last name of a girl I like correctly, and she said, "Oh yeah, that was perfect." Isn't it great when you nail something like that? Especially if you're trying to impress somebody. Oh, that's the wrong one. You know, maybe I should close these other windows out before I confuse myself. Anyways, we're gonna watch this one. It's just a quick clip, but I took a lot of these. I'm gonna like kind of narrate my experience, but this was really fun, and this was the event that I wasn't able to go to last year because I didn't have my wheelchair. So this year, I was able to get around the entire event. I was able to navigate it mostly on my own. Anna did come with me and kind of chaperone and like help me out a bit, right? But I actually did a really good job of getting around mostly by myself. And I know I have this on a loop, but I just thought it'd be fun to like kind of just play it for a minute. But that was like, that's like what the Pride Parade was. It wasn't like anything over the top or anything like super crazy. It's not like I went to New York City or anything. I just traveled over to the capital of New York, which is Albany, and that's where this particular event took place. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll freeze there. Henna, welcome to the stream. But that was some of the stuff. So, my plan for today is to finish editing that video now that my microphone works. I've got, like, actually 2 or 3 videos that I want to edit this week and get them pushed out. I have a gaming video that I want to put out on this channel. And then for anybody who's interested in any of the parade stuff that I did yesterday and wants to, like, go over the full video and, like, watch me zip around on my wheelchair for a bit, that's all going to be on Life of Reigning. For anybody who's interested in watching that. And that's probably going to come out later this week. And then, as a reminder... Oh, Snow Owl, welcome to the stream. As a reminder to everybody who is on the Cutiecraft SMP for Vox Libre, this is the last week to finalize your builds before I get, like, a snapshot of the server and make a video about it. And I wanted to make a video for Pride Month because so many of you have built so many cool things, and they're all, like, Pride-related. So I thought a really good way to celebrate, like, nearly the 1-year, like, birthday of this server is to make a video and show off what you've all built over, like, almost the nearly year that the server has been up. It's gotta have been up for like at least like nearly a year at this point. I don't exactly remember what day we started it, but it was around the summertime this year. So, I mean last year. So, going to the Pride event IRL is probably so cool. It was so much fun. It was. I have not been out of the house properly for like a fun trip in, God, it's been a really long time. The only reason I ever like leave the house anymore, and this is gonna sound a little sad, is to like basically do my laundry and go to the grocery store and like that's about it. That's what I do with my time. Yeah. So I have been like kind of like explain a little bit from like last week about like what happened there. I know like I got a little upset over the microphone not working properly. And it's not the microphone that was the problem. The problem is I just like kind of like overdo it a lot, and I got myself like way too stressed out, and it was like the microphone wasn't what caused the problem for me last week. It was like everything else leading up to the microphone not working. Rain, Anna asked in Japanese, have you drank water? And also my Japanese name is Yamanashi. Yamananashi. I don't know if I said the first part right. Simugi? Yamanashi Simugi? I don't know if I probably butchered that. I'm glad to catch you too, Tenno. Oh, a couple of things too. I have some. I'm trying to figure out the schedule for this week. So tomorrow I put Subnautica back on because I really do want to play that again. And then on Thursday I have the Vox Libre video scheduled for the Raining TNT video that I'm working on. But I still have Friday and Saturday available to like do other stuff. So if there are other games that we want to play or try out, this is like a really good time to like, I don't know, let me know. We can put it to a vote, but I still have like 2 streams that I could schedule for later this week. So if we want to try one of the new games that have been gifted recently or something like that, I'm willing to open up my schedule and say, hey, yeah, we'll give that a shot. Because I do want to tackle some of those other games that have been gifted. RimWorld, perchance? I was going to do RimWorld last week. Okay, so here's what happened with RimWorld. So I got everything set up. I got all the mods installed, right? And I was like, okay, let me take just a quick 2-second peek at that save file to see, like, what happened to our girls. They're all dying. That save file is a game over. They are done for. Like, I think that's the reason why we stopped the playthrough last time, is because I managed to get them all killed. So we are going to have to start a brand new one. But I figured, hey, that's totally fine. So we'll just start a brand new file and we'll go from there. So RimWorld, I could definitely do that. What else do we got? I know there's like a bunch of games that have been gifted recently. So if anybody wants to see me play any of the stuff that has been donated, you can recommend that too. I might just go through it and pick one myself. But I really want to start getting some of these donated games checked off the list too. And at least try them out and see what they're like and, like, you know, get the ball rolling on it. But if we want to do RimWorld, I'm definitely open to RimWorld again. I love RimWorld. It's been so long since I've played it. And that's the nice thing about it too. It's been over a year, so it's like the itch, the RimWorld itch can come back. I get burnt out on games, like even on Vox Libre and stuff like that. I get burnt out on it. I need to take a break from it. Vox Libre, I don't need as long of a break from because I really enjoy voxel games a lot. So I don't need as much of a break away from games like that. But like for most games, I need a couple of months after I really get into them. Peter, welcome to the stream. I had a great conversation with Peter this weekend. I kind of felt bad a little bit when we were having that conversation because I'm like, God, I'm really bad at remembering, like, details. But Peter and I had a really nice art conversation while I was doing one of my drawings. Thomas, welcome to the stream. May I suggest some games? Is it going to be Amori? Because I have that game. I bought it. I used 20 of my own dollars and bought that game just because Thomas keeps asking me to play it. And then I saw Leon started playing it recently, and I was like, okay, all right, the time is nigh. Let's do Amori. I have been dying to play that game anyways. I've heard so many good things about it. I know, but it's like... I feel bad about that because it's like, there's so much that gets thrown at me sometimes, like being a content creator, right? If you think about it, there's like a potential of like almost 3,000 of you to like comment and leave stuff like around for me, and you all find me in different various ways. And sometimes I conflate information. I used to be able to keep it like all together a lot better when the channel was smaller. But now it's like, it's kind of hard because it's like, wait, where did you come from? I don't even know how you found me. Did anybody see my drawing from over the weekend? I can put that up on screen for anybody who wants to see. No, why don't I do that? Y'all looking at drawings? I'll give you a drawing to look at. Hold on, where is it? There it is. All right, give me just a second. We'll go over here. And we'll switch the window to this. Yay, there it is. So pardon the quality of this image. Also, let me get it. Oh, it is full screen. Whoops. So pardon the picture quality because I drew this on my drawing pad. I did this over the weekend at some point. I don't actually remember when I drew it. Whenever I was talking to Peter, which you'd think I'd remember, but I've had kind of a crazy couple of days. Play Tactical Breach Wizards. I think I have that game. Hold on, I'm making a list. I'm actually writing this down. And everybody can suggest some games. Nobody's precluded, okay? Let me go just grab a sheet of paper real quick, though. 2 seconds, I'll be right back. Okay, I am back and I'm ready to take notes. Hawaii, this is better than my drawings. I don't know about that, but, you know, it's not bad. I draw better with real pencils than I like, this is just my opinion, right? And I'm sure you all have different, because, like, art is subjective, right? Everybody likes art for different reasons. Everybody likes different styles of arts for different reasons, right? I don't think I'm very good at digital art. Now, you can argue with me all you want and tell me that I am good at it or you think my digital art is good. This, to me, this is, like, where I personally really enjoy art. I like drawing with real pencils. I like... Oh, goodness. Okay, before I get into, like, an art conversation, let me write down some of these. At RimWorld. Got Amori. which I just bought. And then, what else did we see? Tactical Breach Wizards. And if y'all need a reminder, I can get you a list of, like, games that I have currently. I'm just trying to figure out something for the next upcoming streams. Because I do want to play one of the donated games while I'm working on, like, the Vox Libre TNT thing. Terraria? I do have Terraria. I will be honest, I didn't give Terraria a fair chance, so I'm willing to do Terraria again. I think I played Terraria, like, a couple times. I did it, like, once with Maid. And then I basically was like, oh, cool, we'll try this again. And then completely forgot about it, just like I did with Factorial last year. Could also do a multiplayer Terraria world. I could do that. The problem with doing, like, a multiplayer world, though, is that I very often find, and this is, don't take this the wrong way, right? Because I love y'all. I love y'all to death. Y'all want to help me way too much sometimes. You're like, hi, Rain, here's all, like, the end-level gear that's perfectly crafted in, like, everything for you so you can go beat the game. And it's like, that's really nice, thank you. But, also, it, like, kind of takes the whole point of me playing out of the game, right? Like, I don't learn anything if, like, people gift me a bunch of stuff. Which is fine on our Vox Libre server because, like, I've obviously already beat the game. There's, like, really nothing left to do but create and, like, make cool stuff now. So I don't care for, like, stuff like that. But, like, on a brand new game that I'm still trying to, like, figure out, sometimes I do see that happen. The heart is in the right place, but when it's a new experience, I kind of want to, like, learn how to do that stuff on my own. Superliminal. It's short but fun. I don't have that game yet, but I heard good things about it floating away today. I'd definitely be willing to do that. I'm going to give Subnautica one more try because I do want to try to get into it. The one thing that's holding me back about Subnautica, and I brought this up already, is the crafting system is very complicated. And it's not that I don't want to get into it, but it's like, I don't know if it's the right type of game for me. But I do want to give it one more shot. Unlike other games where I'm like, I play it once and it's like, nah. I actually want to, like, I don't know, 2 or 3 before I, like, back off a game and be like, yeah, that's not really the right game for me, you know? You were the one who gifted me. I knew somebody gave it to me. Okay, so here's how we're going to run the poll. I've got 4 suggestions here. What kind of games would you never play? Ooh. Most, like, modern, like, any of, like, the modern Call of Duty stuff that they just keep pumping out. I would never play that. I would never play CSGO. I don't play that. I used to play Overwatch. Not Overwatch 2, mind you. The original Overwatch. I used to play that multiplayer all the time. I was really into it for a bit, but I won't do games like that anymore because it's just, like, I don't know. It's too stressful. Also, I used to play solo, so that was probably, like, half my issue. I played CSGO once, never. I just don't want to deal with it, right? Like, it's too much. It's way too much for me. I don't need to be, like, twitchy, hardcore shooter gamer girl, okay? I like creative things. Like, I like games that are fun and expansive and you can explore, or, like, good stories. Especially, like, any kind of, like, visual novels that have, like, a really dark story attached to it, or, like, a mystery. That is, like, those are the kind of games I really enjoy. Voxel-based games are very, very fun. That's why I like Luante, because I could just download so many different games. Okay, but for the 4 choices I picked up during the course of the chat, I've got, let's see here. So we got Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So, let's see here. Wait. No, I already have something scheduled for Thursday. So we got Friday and Saturday. So the top 2 choices on this list is what I'm going to schedule for later this week, okay? So, what 2 games do we try this week? And then I'm going to write Amori. Hopefully I spelled that right. Rimworld. Tactical Breach Wizards. And Terraria. Okay, cool. So, and I probably spelled a bunch of those wrong, but the 2 most voted options are what I'll schedule. That way I get an idea of, like, what people like. And then that way, if the second choice doesn't, like, necessarily win, you still have, like, a chance to get what you voted on. You know what I mean? I think that's a little more fair. Just because everybody has, like, different things that they want to see. And that's not to say that we won't ever play these. It's just for this week. And possibly going into next week because, well, you know. If I really like the game, I'm going to keep playing it. Oh, Viola, it was so good to have you here. I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Don't be like me and get, like, overheated. That was part of my other issue, like, the past couple of days. What kind of game is Amori? It's like... Alright, I don't know too much about it, and that is intentional. From what I've looked at, it's a story-based game that reminds me of Earthbound. And that's basically it. I've just looked at some of the art. I've looked at some of the gameplay, and I'm like, oh, goodness, I want to give this a shot. But if you're asking me for, like, the plot points or even what it's about at all, I'm going to be real with you. I want to be taken completely by surprise. Leon has been streaming this. Unfortunately, I've been skipping her Amori streams because I don't want any spoilers for this whatsoever. Raid, what is Skyrim? No. I will play Skyrim one of these days. I'm a little too good at Skyrim, though. Like, that's the thing. I've done so much in Skyrim by myself. Like, what is there even left for me to do in that game? I'm pretty sure I've done everything. I'd probably play... If I was going to play Skyrim again, if I was going to go back to Skyrim one more time, it would probably be for, like, the VR version, because that's, like, the only thing left that I haven't really explored. Oh, I've done all the mods. I have done all the Skyrim mods. I modded one of my save files, because I was so tired of, like, the crappy Civil War. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna set this up so it's like a real Civil War. And I got, like, all these modded patrols and all of them to, like, fight with each other. So, like, when you're walking on the path, you'll actually see 2 opposing patrols and they'll actually engage in combat. And depending on, like, what side you're on, you can actually just fly off your horse and join the battle. And it's, like, a huge one, too. I wanted the Civil War to feel like a real Civil War, which was, you know, the constantly fighting and pressing each other and, like, trying to invade each other's cities and stuff. Things I don't know that Raid loves. Star Trek, Skyrim, Legends of Zelda, and... Alright, now I know you're pulling my leg. You gotta know Legend of Zelda. Alright, let's see where we're at as far as the vote is concerned. So I'm seeing Terraria and RimWorld Y'all seem to really like Terraria. That I'm gonna consider a voxel game, even though it's kinda not a voxel game. It's voxel-ish. It's voxel adjacent. How about that? So I here's the thing with like RimWorld. I mean, not RimWorld. With Terraria, when I was doing Terraria last time, there was some stuff going on in the background that was kind of like bubbling up under the surface, and yeah. I mean, a couple weeks later, like we all kind of found out like what happened there, right? But like, there was some other stuff going on, and you know, I don't like making that as an excuse or anything, right? But that's what happened. Nope, for Legend of Zelda, I only searched it up last week. All right, your homework, Raven. I want you to play The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. Just play it. You don't have to beat it. But out of all the Zelda games that I've ever played, that one is still my favorite, and I consider it one of the best games that was ever made for the Super Nintendo. Followed only probably by, like, maybe Super Mario RPG, which I also found to be a really fantastic game. Oh, A Link to the Past is so good. It's so well done. Out of, like, all the Zelda games, I felt like that was the best because it didn't handhold you, but it's, like, and it also just kind of threw you right into the game. So it's like, okay, here's some basic instructions. Here's a couple of hints. Go figure out how to even find your way to start the game. And it just kind of just throws you to the wolves to, like, explore the area and figure it out on your own. And I'm not even gonna lie, when I was little, I was stuck in the beginning area for so long because I had no idea what to do. And they're like, go to the castle. And I'm like, I'm at the castle. What do I do now? But I was really little when I played that game. They also have an entire comic book that plushie Anna has in her possession. And if you don't even want to, like, play the game, do yourself a favor. Look up that old comic book, because I read that as a kid as well, and that thing is phenomenal. They had an entire comic book that covers the entire plot of the Link to the Past. Link to the Past. Just ones and zeros. I see you there. Sorry if I missed you earlier. How you doing, cutie? I got bored halfway through A Link to the Past and never finished it. What part? Was it the Dark World part? Because that part is like where the game gets a little tough. And like it really leaves it very open-ended. I mean, some of the dungeons you need to like finish the other ones for. But you can kind of go a little out of order once you're in the Dark World. I mean, technically, it's a manga, too. I mean, technically, it's a lot of things now. Yeah, that's the part that trips most people up. I would encourage it, because it's so hard, and you have to go and save, like, the 7 maidens. It's tough. Especially some of the dungeons on Death Mountain are ridiculous. I remember one of the hardest ones was in the top right corner of the map on Death Mountain in the Dark World. And I got so frustrated as a kid. I remember asking my mom if she could even help me. And of course, she doesn't know how to play video games any better. You know what my mom's solution was to the problem? And this is, like, something that my mom used to do a lot for us when we were kids. So, she saw that, like, we were struggling with the game. And she's like, well, I don't really know how to help, right? So what she did is she went into the kitchen and she made red, green, and blue Kool-Aid. and she put them in bottles with corks on them. And then she brought them into our room and she's like, well, here's some magic potions to help you out. And I mean, it was just Kool-Aid, right? But she just put it in a fancy bottle. But like, I remember as a kid, I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Look, we have the red potion and the blue potion and the green potion. Right? Also, sorry to say this, I only found out about Hatsune Miku as a thing after you talked about it in stream. Don't feel bad. I only found out Hatsune Miku was a thing because I was on, like, social media. I literally posted a meme that was like, I don't know anything about Hatsune Miku lore, and at this point, I'm afraid to ask. And then somebody linked me to some Miku music, and I was like, oh my God, what have I been missing out on my whole life? I like the 2D Zelda games. The 2D Zelda games were amazing. Also, Credo, welcome to the stream. By the way, which one do you prefer I call you by? Because I've done it a couple of different ways now. Do you have a preference? I try to call people by what they prefer. I'm gonna leave the vote up for a couple more minutes. But it looks... because RimWorld is very close. But so many of you want to see Amori. 2D Zelda, my beloved. Okay, you want to play a 2D Zelda game. Link's Awakening. Do it. Do it. Maddie, welcome to the stream. Hey, cutie, just out of curiosity, what time is it there in jolly old England? Because I have something I need to do, and it's on a deadline. I was hoping I was going to have enough, like, energy after the stream yesterday, but I'm going to be real with you. Like, after I washed up... okay, so I still got a couple hours. Good. I washed up. I tuned into, like, Leon's stream last night. I started watching that with y'all, and then... bam! Out like a light. And then I woke up at 3 a.m. and couldn't go back to sleep. Yay! I've done my gaming homework. Seriously, though, if like one of the hardest 2D Zelda games is gotta be Link's Awakening. Not Link's Awakening. Wait, what the hell am I even talking about? Not Link's Awakening. Oh god, Rain. Pull it together. Zelda 2. Zelda 2, The Return of Ganon. That's what I meant to say. Zelda 2. 2D. Side-scrolling. Zelda action that doesn't pull its punches, because I'm going to tell you this right now. Death Mountain is aptly named in that game. Death Mountain is aptly named The Faces of Evil. She fell asleep because there weren't any cat girls. Hey, listen, I'm not saying I'm biased towards cat girls, but I'm definitely biased towards cat girls. I'm an uncultured girl, okay? I just moved to Japan a few months ago. It's okay. But if I had to pick between them, I would say probably Nebru and, like, Kasane Teto I like more than Hatsune Miku. Even though I have a lot of Miku posters, those are just because, like, they're more widely available. If somebody could find me a Teto poster or a Nebru poster, I would love that. Thorn, welcome to the stream. How you doing today? Rain, could you try to listen to Ado's music? I know you would love the show. Wait. I know you would love Show and Rockstar. I'll give it a shot. I mean, I don't see any reason why not. My brain doesn't know whether to read prog as prog rock or progesterone. I know you asked Raven Gombic, but I actually don't watch a ton of VTubers. The most I watch is like people from our own community. Before I got into the channel, I used to watch like mainstream like VTubers, but not like regularly. I was into all sorts of like live streaming content, but I really enjoyed that. Okay, all right. We're getting a couple of like recommendations for if it's either Ado or Ado or Otto. Who knows? VTuber Rain is my first. Aw. It's progesterone rock. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Just ones and zeros. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end the poll now. Let's take a look at the results. So we got Amori, Terraria, Rimworld, and Tactical Breach. So I'm going to put a checkbox next to Amori and Terraria. And those will be the live streams we schedule for the remainder of the week. Decisive Amori victory? I mean, a lot of people have been asking me to... Not just you, Thomas. You're the loudest voice in the room. But I know a lot of people have been like, so when are we doing Amori? And listen, if you wanted to see me play Rimworld or Tactical Breach Wizards, we'll just do that next week. I am also an Amori cultist. Like I said, a lot of people have been like coming to me, even if they don't like publicly say it. I get like DMs every once in a while too, like with like, so when are you doing this? When are you doing that? Why today it feels hotter than Japan? Okay, so at least you're now getting a wait, what state are you in right now, Raven? If you're comfy answering that. Because depending on what state you're in, that makes sense. Where I live in the Northeast, it doesn't necessarily get hot. It does sometimes. But, like, the thing that we suffer from the most is humidity and heat. And that's when I struggle. Like, direct sunlight isn't too bad for me. But if I'm, like, just stuck sweating in, like, disgusting thick air, that is when I start getting sick. California. Oh, goodness. Yeah, it gets really warm over there. I don't have much to say about California weather because the only time I've ever been to California was at the Los Angeles airport. And that was just to, like, go overseas. By the way, just ones and zeros and Thomas, how long is Amori? Like, if I streamed it for a couple of hours for a couple of streams, how long do you think it would take me to beat the game? Is it like one shot where it's not too long? Rain, what is Amori? It is a story-based game that reminds me of Earthbound, and I actually don't know too much about the game personally because I've shielded myself from any spoilers. So I don't actually know very much about the game at all, intentionally, because I want to go into it blind. Like 20, 25 hours of gameplay, I think. Roughly 20 hours. Oh, perfect! Yay! That also fits the qualifications of a nice, short, easy game for me to play on the side while we're working on other stuff. Perfect. So that checks off the box of a new game. It's short and easy, and then we'll start working in the other games. And once I finish the TNT stream, we'll bounce. I'll take another, like, little break from doing Vox Libre content again. And we'll just bounce around on a couple of other games until I'm ready to go back to Vox Libre, which will be very soon. But there's going to be 2 Vox Libre videos coming out on the channel soon, so I've got all these grand plans, but it's like, it's kind of tough because it's hard to film all this stuff, you know? Like, I've got an idea of what the process should be for making content going forward. The tough part is actually going through and doing it. Like, now I'm in the grind phase of getting, like, this content, like, put together. And I would personally prefer if all of my videos were filmed during the course of the live streams going forward. Especially for the challenge stuff, like the TNT rain. Because what I've noticed with, like, a lot of, like, Minecraft, like, a lot of Minecraft-related videos that are, like, quote-unquote challenges, I've noticed that they do, like, a lot of weird stuff that I kind of consider pretty game-breaking and, like, not in the spirit of a challenge. Like, I was watching this YouTuber named Mudflaps. Now, don't get me wrong. Love the content. Love the narration. Love the format, right? But when you're going into the game and, like, backporting the game and doing all this coding stuff in the background so that you can beat the challenge, I feel like that breaks the spirit of the game, right? If you're, like, shifting between updates and doing stuff like that, like, are you even playing Minecraft the way it's intended to be played? I mean, some people argue, yeah, I mean, you can backport to any version at any time, right? But it's like, I feel like if you need to start making major modifications to the game to beat the challenge, that, like, defeats the spirit of the challenge, right? So I figured if I just live stream everything, right? If anybody questions the way that the challenge was performed, maybe just, like, go watch the live stream. Just go watch it, right? Like, if you think I cheated, I live streamed the whole thing, so you could go watch that. And then that helps because a lot of people really like the live stream content I do, and they don't necessarily like the videos. And then there's folks on the channel that are like, I only watch your videos, and you haven't been making enough of those. So I'm trying to make everybody happy. It's like, I get it. I know some people don't have the time to sit here for hours and watch me live stream. They would much rather get a concise, well-narrated video that was like 15 minutes that sums up the experience, you know? I get it. That's valid. I'm working on it. Nice, short, easy game, Terraria. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine. I've watched a couple of videos. Not to, like, get good at the game, but I just kind of wanted to see, like, what other people do with their Terraria worlds. And I watched one where somebody was like, I'm going to, like, try to cleanse the world before, like, these certain people show up. And they ended up, like, digging around their entire infected biome just to stop it from spreading. That was pretty fun. Dark Raven, welcome to the stream. How you doing, my brother? Rain, I tried to make your egg burrito, but oh no. What happened? Oh, it's shorter than Stardew Valley. My Stardew Valley gameplay is 3 years and I haven't finished it. I started Stardew Valley on this channel last year. That was another one that we ended up abandoning. So there's a couple of games that we started and we never finished. One of them was Factorio. One of them was one of the Pokemon games we started. Stardew Valley we never ended up finishing. I burnt it. Oh no. You might have to rewatch that video again. Remember to take the food off the heat. That was like one of my best advice. The biggest mistake a lot of people make with cooking is keeping that heat up and then keeping it on, especially if you're moving things off the pan. The second you take something off that frying pan, that heat better come off that pan. Because if you're just letting it sit there and you're just going to smoke that pan, and then the next thing you put inside of it is going to get scorched to death. Absolute to death. A lot of people don't factor that in, but it's like you don't need constant heat on the pan. Once the pan is hot, it's going to cook the food until the temperature lowers a few degrees, and you're only putting it back on the heat again and raising the heat up just to bring it back up to the proper cooking temperature. The idea is not to like constantly blast fire on the bottom of the pan, which I see a lot of people do. They're like, hi, that's great for boiling water. I don't build much in Terraria. I don't see myself going crazy with builds in Terraria. I say that now, but who knows? Building is like one of the most favorite things I do in these types of games. This might just be my skill issue, but I like building in a 3D space rather than in Terraria. Peter, I agree with you. I'm a little concerned about enjoying the building aspect in a 2D space, but it's worth trying. It just feels awkward to me that you're building a house and you can just still see inside of it. Terraria is a lot more combat focused. Well, after I got good at Celeste, I feel better about tackling Terraria because like when I went into Terraria last time, I admitted I'm not really good at 2D games. I'm not really good at platforming. It's harder for me to say that now since I like beat Celeste and done some of like the really harder levels. So I feel like I could approach Terraria with like a fresh perspective and some newfound skill. Terraria controls are awful. I mean, hey, it can't be any worse than me playing on that like ridiculous Logitech thing. I can't believe I beat Celeste on that. I have switched over to the new controller now that it works. I never really cared much for the building in Terraria. I just built a rectangle with a door and call it a day. That is very likely. I'm probably going to build the shackiest of shacks. And then we're going to like get to endgame with like basically all the basic stuff. I say this knowing nothing about Terraria and only knowing how to spawn like the first world boss, which is like the giant eyeball, I think. Which is like the easiest one, I guess. Rain, the egg is fine, but I can't say the same about the tortilla. Okay, so the tortilla, that is very susceptible to getting burnt easily. So what I recommend there is when you take the eggs off the pan, take the heat completely off. Then, if you need to, add a little more butter back to the pan. Because butter creates a better non-stick surface than oil does. And then put the burrito back on the pan without the heat and just observe for a second to see what the reaction to the tortilla is. Because if that pan is still scorching hot, you may not even need to add extra heat to finish toasting it. Because remember, you're not cooking that burrito. You're just toasting the outside of it. So you may not even need extra heat depending on how hot the pan is. But if you go ahead and you put that butter in there and you don't see it really melting, then you know, hey, maybe I need to turn the heat back up a little bit. All right, I'm going to go grab a sip of water. I'll be right back. I'm going to come over to this screen. We'll put the break up. I will be back. Give me 2 minutes. Alright, I am back. Let me go ahead and take that off. Yay! The Master Snow. Oh, well, have a nice day. Oh, wait, I don't know if you're leaving or you just said bye because I went on break. Welcome back. Okay, alright, I got confused there for a second. Also, I see... Rain, I think I broke Anna again for my cooking skills. Oh, God, I gotta see this. Would you post that in the Discord? Let me see. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, I'm gonna pull that up on screen. I'm sorry. I'm not making fun of you. I just... Here. This is why, though. This is why you should follow some of the advice that I gave earlier, though. Hold on a second. Let's go over here. Give me 1 sec. I'll pull it up on screen. Okay, so this was the tortilla that Raven was talking about. I'm going to guess, and correct me if I'm wrong, but just from the scorch patterns, you proceeded to put this on a scorched hot pan, realized it because it started smoking instantly, and pulled it off. Because that that's not indicative of a burn that's been left on the pan for too long. That looks more like you realized very quick. Okay, all right, I nailed it. Yay! Can you tell I've made these same mistakes in the past? Okay, so try that method with the butter and try to do that because, like I said, the butter creates a thicker barrier. So when you just use cooking oil is great, but here's what and I say this as somebody who's lactose intolerant, okay? I still prefer cooking with butter, even though I'm lactose intolerant. The difference between cooking oil and butter is that cooking oil will make things a lot crispier, but the layer, like, and this is like more of a, like on a molecular level, but like the layer between the hot metal pan that the food wants to stick to and the oil barrier that it creates with the oil is very thin. But because butter has more than just oil and fat inside of it, it creates a thicker barrier. And not only that, but the food actually wants to bind to the butter as opposed to the pan. So butter is better for non-stick, but for crispier food, oil is generally better. But you can't really go wrong with either. It's like a matter of preference and how you like. Like, for example, some people like really crispy edges on their eggs. I don't care for that. Like, I don't need my eggs to be crispy. I use gin because that... Wait, why would you cook with gin? Don't you know that alcohol evaporates when you heat it up? Oh, no. Oh, no. Yeah, that explains everything. So, for those who aren't aware, if you cook with alcohol, you will evaporate all the alcohol out of whatever you're cooking with. So that's why when you cook with wine and stuff like that, as you apply heat to alcohol, you actually break the bonds that make alcohol what it is, and it evaporates away and only leaves whatever is remaining in the alcohol behind. So that's how you impart alcohol flavor into like your soups and stews and stuff like that without actually making it alcoholic. And like for a lot of stews, like the base can be made with like a red wine, but you will only get the red wine flavor with none of the alcohol in it. I forgot. It's okay. Listen, I guarantee you won't make that mistake again. That is a very crispy tortilla. I'll do a couple more cooking videos too. Not that I'm like an expert cook or anything. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I'm like Rain cooking, like Rain of cooking here, right? Like I am definitely not a professional cook. I just enjoy cooking and I have some cooking skill. Enough where, like, I think I could be like a mom if I really needed to be. Not that I'm ever gonna have children, right? But, like, if I needed to feed a couple of hungry kids, I'm sure I'd be, you know, they'd like my cooking. Most people who try my food go, damn, that's pretty decent. Not that it's like 10 out of 10, but damn, that's actually pretty tasty. I have heard of dishwasher lasagna. What is dishwasher lasagna? Skeleton Box, welcome to the stream. Have y'all ever heard of dishwasher tuna? Wait, where's all these dishwasher, like, meals coming from? Dishwasher sous vide? I actually have a sous vide. You want to see me sous vide a meal? I could do that as a video. A YouTube channel I used to watch like a super long time ago was called Sous Vide Everything. That's when I first got into like those immersion cookers. And I literally would watch like all of those and be like, yeah, I want to make a steak like that. That looks really good. You've never heard of dishwasher lasagna? I'm going to be real with you. Anything with the adjective dishwasher in front of it immediately turns me off. So we finally dedicating a stream to Pride Month? We are, but like a lot of the conversation has been mostly about gaming and random stuff, but where I went to the Pride event, so if anybody wants to ask me about that I did over the weekend, I am more than happy to discuss that and bring that back up again. But it's open format. We could just talk about anything you want here. Honestly, I don't care. As long as you're all having a good time. One of my friends showed me beer can chicken recently. Okay, so grilling with beer, that I know of. Cooking with beer, that I know of. Cooking with wine and gin and stuff like that, that I've all heard of, right? But dishwasher? I hope it's just like... I hope it doesn't mean you're actually using the dishwasher. Right? Because, like, when you're like, ooh, I made some bourbon chicken, right? It implies that you put the bourbon in the chicken. When you say it's dishwasher lasagna, it implies that you took things from the dishwasher and put it in the lasagna. Rain, I also destroyed my oven at home. I tried to make a Chicago deep dish pizza back in Japan. I have never made a deep dish pizza at home. I'm going to be real about it. I could try, but I've just never done it. Because I don't... Okay, I don't hate deep dish pizza, but I'm not, like... If I'm going to go get pizza, I'm going to get New York style pizza. I'm just going to be real about it. No, not the beer. The can itself. Wait, what? Wait. Now I'm confused. Did they put the chicken in the beer can? New York style pizza slaps. Mr. Bad with Names. It's good to see you. My town's parade was this Saturday. I enjoyed my time there. Mine was yesterday. I could pull up a couple more photos from the trip. Hold on. I still got some pictures. I could pull up one for the screen. Hold on. We got into other stuff, but let me find, or at least a clip that I can, like, kind of, like, repeat on the screen over and over again. I got a bunch of, like, video clips. Oh, Mr. Bad with Names, thank you so much. Head pats in the chat for Mr. Bad with Names. I'm gonna go to Ko-Fi real quick and read what they wrote. Hey, happy Pride, Rain, and all. Oh my goodness, thank you so much. Happy Pride to you too, my friend. I love your work. Art. Alright, you heard Mr. Bad with Names. Everybody has to enjoy Pride. Okay, where's my OBS? I'm lost now. Time for me to do head pats. Okay, alright, hold on, wait. Let me find a video I can play for y'all. Something cool, something I haven't played yet. Y'all want to see me, like, riding around in my, like, wheelchair for a minute? Not that it's, like, particularly interesting, but, you know, it's a thing. It's a thing I did. Trying to find something. Here you go. You can see how dense the crowd was at the event. Hold on. I'll pull that up on screen. We'll go over here. And I'll pull up the video. So this is just me, like, kind of wheelchairing around at the event. And the crowd after the event was so huge. It was so difficult to get around. And this is a dirt path. So for those who remember what happened last year, I couldn't go to the event for 2 reasons. One, I didn't have the really good wheelchair that I have now that y'all, like, have seen me zip around in, right? And 2, the reason why I wanted to pull this up is to show you how difficult it was to navigate. Now, I attempted to go on my cane, and I was like, all right, I'll figure it out. I'm sure I can walk around a little, right? But it had rained for 3 days, and all of these dirt paths were like sloppy, wet mud. So even if I did have a wheelchair last year, I wouldn't have been able to get over, like, the terrain because I would have just slipped into the mud anyways. So I ended up missing the parade last year. Even though I went to the Capitol to go watch all of this stuff, I basically just sat down on a bench the entire time, missed the entire thing, and, like, didn't get to have any fun. So anyways, fine, let me get this out. But that's just a little bit of, like, and I got a video coming out, like, ideally on Wednesday that's gonna have all this footage in it. But, like, right now I'm, like, pretty much just stuck to clips. Like, until I edit it all together. Wait, we did pass the snake guy? There was a guy there that brought, like, 2 snakes with them. It was pretty cool. But this year was so much better, and I'm going to talk about that in the video, about the difference between last year and this year. And I really want to make a point on the video to show how good the wheelchair actually is, so that you all can see the difference of, like, this is what you all unlocked with your donation of this wheelchair. Like, this wheelchair is what the community bought for me, so I really want to show what you've given me access to, because I wasn't able to do this last year. One thing I enjoyed with Pride Parades is the fashion. I really get to see some good queer fashion. Heck, I saw someone who was dressed up as Dante during the parade. I saw some really cute outfits. I tried to get a good video of everybody in the parade. I figured that was the most appropriate time to film the people in the outfits. So I got a couple of good ones. I'm trying not to, like, show the clips that are, like, the best clips because I'm saving them for the video. I'm glad I could get involved with my local Pride Parade this year, marching with other people and helping out with a stand. It felt really empowering. I want to do a stand for myself next year. So next year, I want to go, and I'm just going to set up, like, a little art booth, and it's just going to be kind of like me introducing myself and just being like, hi, I'm an artist, and I also do YouTube, and here's some of my art, and if anybody wants to buy art from me, they can buy it from me, and I'll just, like, sit there, because, like, it's kind of hard for me to get around the parade, even with, like, the new wheelchair. It's still really tiring, but what I could do is I could go to the parade as a vendor and, like, try to, I don't know, get my art out there a little bit more. Even if I don't really make any money, it's just, like, more of, like, kind of, like, just trying to get my name out there a bit. I wish there was a way to cover Anna in an umbrella. Hey, listen, I brought, like, 80 SPF sunblock. I did my part. I brought the right tools. But you're right, she does need, like, an actual parasol. People forgot that that, like, was a common fashion item for women. But yeah, parasols used to be, like, a common thing. Like, keeping your head out of the sun is not a abnormal thing. It is totally fine to walk around with an umbrella during a sunny day because you don't want the heat blasting all over you. I'm gonna buy a cute parasol like Princess Peach. See? You just gotta get into it like that. Now, see, the reason I don't buy anything like that is because I can't operate an umbrella or a parasol in my wheelchair. So it's like, when would I ever use it? Like, if it's raining out and I'm out in my wheelchair, I'm just like, well, guess I'm getting wet. Rain, I think I broke Anna from my drunk cooking fail. Listen, the worst time... Okay, I have two examples for this. The worst food I've ever made was when I don't drink anymore, just to clarify. I've not drank alcohol in years now. But once upon a time, in my 20s, I used to drink, and I would cook when I was drunk sometimes, which is really bad. Don't ever do that, right? But, like, all the food I used to make was awful. Never a great combination. Only one time I cooked something, and it was really good, but I wasn't paying attention to how I cooked it, so I couldn't make it again. I never understood why people want to get burned by the sun so badly, even as a kid. Oh, I can explain a little bit of the American side of that culture. So I even remember this, like, growing up, like, even in some, like, educational videos, like, from, like, health class, they would, like, promote getting out into the sun more. In fact, having a tan in the United States was considered healthy. Like, people would say, oh, you've got a nice, healthy glow, right? Because you've been, like, laying out in the sun. For whatever reason, we have it in our heads, at least in our culture, that if you're tan and you've been tanning, you're more healthy, even though that's not necessarily true. And in fact, sometimes tanning is really bad for your skin. Zookeeper, welcome to the stream. Right, healthy, totally not risking cancer. All right, there's a balance, right? There's a balance. Should you go out in the sun? A little bit every day, right? A little bit doesn't hurt, right? And it's healthy for you. But, like, laying out in the sun and getting, like, golden brown for several hours a day is probably not the best for your skin. Right? Like, if you're roasting yourself out in the sun, like, you know, like a beef brisket, maybe, maybe that's not what you want to go do. But hey, I'm not one to judge. If you like tanning, if you think you look better with a tan, that's fine. Just don't overdo it. You know when I like to tan? When I do it naturally. I don't lay out in the sun for hours. I don't bake myself. I don't put, like, one of those, like, stupid little ring things on my belly so that I can tell, like, how much color I've, like, changed. Have you ever seen those? They are kind of cute, though, right? Like, you put the, like, the little heart thing on your stomach, and it, like, blocks out the sun, so when you take it away, you can see how much, like, tanner you've got. And it, like, creates, like, a little, like, heart pattern. It's very cute, but also, like, no, I don't do stuff like that. You're never gonna catch me dead in a bikini. If I ever go to the beach, it's gonna be in a one-piece, because I have, like, scars from my accident I don't want people to see. Tan, going outside, equal being healthy, equal... sorry, being active, equal healthy. See, you just have to do it naturally. Right? Like... The only tans I've ever got are, like, just because I've been outside doing something. Not because I was intentionally laying out there trying to crisp up. If I try to tan, my skin would be red immediately. So I don't tan very well. I would have to get a sunburn at least once before I'd start tanning. I just don't tan very well. I have very fair skin. And here's the worst part. Every time I get a sunburn, I swear I get a new freckle on my skin. I hate it. If you look at the bottom part of, like, my arm, no freckles. Because that part's rarely exposed to the skin. I mean, exposed to the sun. But if you look at the top part of my arms, they're covered in freckles everywhere. I hate it. I hate having mottled skin. I have so many freckles, by the way. Like, where do you have them? Because I have mine predominantly on my shoulders and on my arms. The rest of my body is actually mostly freckle-free, but they're super concentrated on my shoulders and on my, especially on my forearms. My forearms are absolutely covered in freckles. Ever since HRT, my freckles have finally showed on my cheeks. I used to have so many freckles on my face. I don't know what happened there. They all disappeared, and I'm like, oh, thank goodness, because I personally think I was hideous when I was, like, 10 years old, but, you know, I don't know. I looked really bad. You also couldn't tell what gender I was at that age. Probably was foreshadowing for something, but whatever. Here's what I have to say about, like, 10 to 12-year-old me before I hit puberty. You couldn't tell if I was a chubby little boy or a chubby little girl. That's all I gotta say about that. Are freckles considered undesirable in the US? I got made fun of it a lot. And then there was a book that came out called Freckle Juice. And then all of a sudden, freckles were popular for a bit. And then they fell off again. It was mostly just about me. I moved around a lot from school district to school district. So I didn't really have a lot of friends. So I was kind of like a little bit of a social outcast. And I think mostly like what the kids did is they just found reasons to like keep me excluded. Not necessarily that they hate freckles, it's just because I had freckles, so they're going to make fun of me for it. It's okay, Rain. At least your parents didn't call you a bull for being 110 pounds. I consider myself to be overweight. Now, some of you may argue with me on that, but I want to lose weight. I used to be really skinny. Especially before the accident, I had a really good, like, body shape. Oh, hold on. I'll just pull up a picture of me. Y'all can kind of just see what I'm talking about here. I'll pull up a picture from yesterday. Let me try to find one that shows me at, like, an angle that we can judge me at. Okay. You know what? We'll do the wheelchair picture. Because that's a good side angle of me. Let's go back over here real quick. And then I'll pull up the photo. Where is it? There we go. Okay. So, and I'll zoom in on this a little bit so that you can kind of see it a little bit better. Right? Oh, no. That was not what I wanted. There we go. I switched to the wrong picture by accident. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, though. I am not in the best shape. Actually, let me zoom back in again. There we go. Okay, so I'm not in the best shape. I'm a little thicker than I want to be, and my arms are way too big because of the amount that I use the wheelchair. But I used to be stick thin. I used to be as thin as the model that you see on the screen. But, like, it's not too bad. My legs are about the right shape that I want them to be. I just have a little bit of a belly because I'm not as active as I used to be anymore. It's hard because I don't really, like, walk around as much. Most of my, like, physical activity is limited to, like, upper body stuff. So, like, I can pick stuff up off the floor still. I've still got, like, a strong back. I've got strong shoulders. I've got strong arms. But, yeah. The only model I see on the screen is to the left. Lies. Lies. I know the truth. Why do you look like a girl to me? You should have seen me when I first started transitioning. I showed one of my friends who's known me for, like, so long at this point. She's not part of the community. She actually doesn't even like YouTube. She's one of my friends that I like to keep because, you know, she's, like, completely removed from the YouTube side, so we can just genuinely be friends. It has nothing to do with my content. She has no idea of what I do on the channel sometimes. So, and she's seen me since, like, day one. Since, like, day one. When I had the short hair and I was still bald, right? And I had the big, goofy, ugly, like, facial hair. And I just shaved it all off. And I still had, like... Oh, God, I looked hideous. I looked so bad. And I showed her these photos, and she's like, holy shit. Holy shit, Rain, you are completely different. I can't even recognize you. And, like, even Anna has seen, like, my passport photo and my ID photo, and she's like, these aren't the same people! You don't even look like this anymore. At best, you would think I am, like, the sibling to myself or, like, a distant cousin, but definitely not the same person. So I have transitioned quite a bit over a year and a half. I know, HRT is magical. So I got, like, I mentioned this earlier in the stream, but, like, somebody, like, for, like, the concert part, they have to, like, ID you to see if you're over 21. So I, like, rolled up there, and they're like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 40. And the girl was like, no way. No way. No way. And I'm like, that HRT is magic, isn't it? Hi, Lillian. Welcome to the stream. HRT is a hell of a drug. Is that a photo of you? Yes, it is. This was me yesterday. I'm in front of the legislative building in the capital of New York State. We traveled out to the capital of New York because that's one of the best areas to go for, like, the Pride Parade, in my opinion, other than going to, like, New York City. So the capital of New York is pretty chill for the most part. It's, like, not as intense as New York City, and I don't want to have to deal with, like, New York City crowds and crap. So, like, it's way easier for me to go to something like this. Like, both Anna and I had to take, like, a trip yesterday to get here. It was not that bad. It was not that bad. Albany is the capital of New York. But, fun fact, New York is not part of New England, and I live in New England. Also, New York City not being the capital is hilarious. What's even funnier is when you go to Albany, you would expect the capital to be as, like, robust and big as New York City, and it's absolutely not. The joke about Albany is it's called Smallbany. But that's also why I prefer to go there for events, because it's more chill and laid back and the crowds are less intense. US naming patterns are confusing. Oh, that's just because we steal all the names from everything else. I look cute in that photo. Aw, thank you. I took one photo of me in front of a restaurant. I have to show you this. Alright, it's not the best photo of me. But I'll show it to you anyways. Give me a second. Let me find it. Where is it? Anna took this photo of me. I thought it was cute. Where's the photo? There it is. I found it. Okay, so there is a restaurant over in Albany. And I'll show it off to you now. Give me a sec. So there's a restaurant called Rain in Albany. So I had to take a picture in front of it. And yes, it had the spelling of my name. Like, if you look at the parking sign, you can see it. Look, that's my name. They gave me a special parking spot just for me. That's Rain parking. I'm sorry. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, Anna, you have to take my photo in front of this restaurant. This is ridiculous. So anyways, here's the photo of me. Not the greatest picture of me. You can kind of see my age a little bit when I smile like this, but it's still cute. All right, I want to... Actually, we'll do a poll over this photo. We'll do a poll over this. How old do I look in this photo? Okay, so we'll do 20 to 30. No. We'll do, yeah, you know what? We'll do 20 to 30 and then 30 to 40. Y'all can tell me how old I look. Miss Rain looks a lot like my mother's side of the family. Aww. Actually, I commented to a friend privately that I looked like my mother when she was this age. And she also has done a phenomenal job at, like, retaining her youth. There is no goddamn way you all think I'm 20 to 30 years old. In this picture! This poll is biased as a Fox News. Hey, yeah, I know, right? Y'all gonna tell me I look like I'm 20? All right. We need to specify, though. Like, maybe we need to, like, narrow it down. It's like 20 to 25, 25 to 30, 30 to 35, and, like, 35 to 40. That way, like, I can get a more narrow answer. Can we go even lower? There's no way y'all think I'm 19. 0 to 10. I look like my mom in her mid to late 20s. Nailed that genetic lottery. As I transition more, what I've noticed is I stopped looking like my father, and, like, I don't know how it happened, but all of a sudden, all of my mom's genes have just, like, come out super strong. I feel like there wasn't really that much of my father in me. I got his goddamn schnoz. That's about it. Frickin' oversized nose on my face. Look at that thing. Come out and poke your eye out. That thing's almost got a life of its own. By the way, that's not a nose. That's a schnoz. A nose is petite and dainty and cute. That is a giant, huge nose on my face. You have Roman DNA? That would be awesome, actually. Cutie nose? I don't know about that. Out of, like, all my facial features, my nose, I think, is the one that, like, I think I hate the most, but I would not get any cosmetic surgery. I'm not ever going to do cosmetic. I don't really believe in plastic surgery. There are some procedures I'm fine with, like hair removal. So I do laser hair removal, but that's just like permanently removing the hair. That's not modifying my like actual, like, features. Like, you're not gonna see my facial hair anyways, because I would have just cut it off, right? But now it's permanently removed, so now you can't ever see it again. Yuko also got nose surgery. Possibly. I also know that she had, bottom surgery recently. I think it went well. I've got to catch up on her channel. It's better than I'd rather have a button nose. I'd also love to be like 150 pounds. That'd be so great. If I woke up tomorrow skinny again, oh god, I'd be so happy. Oh, but if I woke up skinny tomorrow, god, you'd see how shredded my arms actually are. Actually, alright. Kind of a blessing of disguise of being a little bit overweight is you actually can't see how strong my arms are. I remember it from a while. Yeah, I know. I don't have time, unfortunately, to, like, keep up on, like, YouTube. Here's the thing. When you become a content creator and you try to scale up to, like, full-time content creation, it's harder and harder to keep up with, like, what other people are doing on the platform. Do you know what I watch more often than not when it's, like, my free time and I want to go to bed? Historical documentaries or, like, PBS Space Time. Right? That's what I get caught up on YouTube. I'll catch some of my friends live streaming, and I like to support people in our community that stream and do content on YouTube. But, like, the bigger people, like, I don't follow Naira as much anymore. Yeah, and it's not that I don't want to. A lot of their content is kind of involved, and, like, I just don't have time for it. Like, it's not that I don't want to. It's just, like, when I'm at the end of my day, I've already created so much of my own content that's kind of similar to that. Like, I don't want to watch somebody else's version of something that I'm doing that's kind of almost the same thing. I want to watch history and learn about something, or, like, watch a cooking video. That's, like, usually, like, what I'll do in my free time. Alright, I'm done looking at my face. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Okay, I got one last question, though. I designed my character to not look like me, but there are parts of me in the character. How much do you think I actually look like my model? Obviously, my hair is a different color and my skin's not, like, Snow White, right? But, like, as far as the general vibe is concerned, do y'all see where I kind of, like, got some of the direction? Did you know that the Spanish Invincible Armada of 1588 had 130 ships? I also know that what was it? Like, I can't remember what the name of the conquistador was, but there was a conquistador that, like, no crap, took, like, 100 men and invaded half of South America with it. That is insane to me. Your facial shape is pretty accurate in your shoulder definition. Yay! Obviously, like, my hair doesn't fall over my eyes. I don't wear an eye patch, right? That's all just, like, artistic expression. I don't obviously wear 2 giant red bows in my hair all the time, though I do put bows in my hair from time to time. Not something I do consistently. You look like some who would pick that top. I always wanted to get a blue dress like this. I haven't found one that fits me. If I ever do dress up for, like, an event, like an IRL event, I thought it'd be fun to at least wear the blue dress and maybe get some red bows for my hair. Right now, the bows that I have are pink. What's next? You don't actually have cat ears! I got cat ear headphones. Does that count? You don't have cat ears IRL? I'm sorry to disappoint you, Peter. I'm afraid not. Wait, there is a video of me wearing the cat ears at one point. Let me see if I can find it. There is a video of me wearing the cat ears, though. Where is it, though? That's the million-dollar question. There are so many videos that I took. It's kind of hard to tell what is what. Hold on, I'm going through it now, just to see which one it was. Because I remember I told Anna at one point, I'm like, can you just film me watching? Oh, that is such a cool one. I caught... Oh, we gotta play this. Hold on, wait. This is worth watching. I always loved rollerblading. And they had a couple of derby teams there, and I didn't, in this particular clip, I don't want to show off all of them, but hold on, let me show you off this one at least. So cool. Hold on, wait, pull it up. And they were zipping through, carrying, like, all the pride stuff, and I just thought it was great. I'm easily impressed, if you can't tell. Alright, let me close that out. Let me find the one I was actually trying to tell you all about. Oh, I don't have my cat ears on for this. Oh, no. Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry. I don't know if I even have one. The Spanish conquest of the Aztec Empire got a lot of help from indigenous polities that didn't like the Aztecs. I thought one of the lead, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I just misremembered this part of history. I thought the Aztecs got really sick, and that was the real reason why. They went ahead and they played that trick on, the emperor, right? And they were able to, kidnap him, hold him for ransom, steal all his gold. Then I think they executed him. And then, the army was so weak at that point from being sick that they basically just, rolled over everybody. I have to brush up on my, Spanish conquistador history. I've been focusing recently on early European history, which is Holy Roman Empire, stuff like that. Smallpox, yeah. It could have been the Incas. That's what I'm saying. I could be misremembering, Thomas. I've got to brush back up on that. Yes, that's the way the entire indigenous population in North and South America got so weak and great. It just shocks me that they were able, and it probably was the Incas. I can't remember exactly which one, but there was a conquistador that, no kidding, only had 100 men and just steamrolled through the empire. You know, the Byzantine Empire wasn't that great the more I learn about it. Neither was the Holy Roman Empire, for that fact, either. I've been listening to a lot of Ancient Americas while playing Vintage Story. What I'm really interested in these days is, a lot of Roman history. I love the Roman Empire. Well, not the way that it was run, but I just... God, there was so much chaos back then. Yeah, quote-unquote holy, quote-unquote Roman, and quote-unquote empire. It was really just, a bunch of, really small nation-states that all just cooperated together because one emperor was in charge of all of them. But they still spent a majority of their time infighting, from my understanding of that. Well, I think, a lot of the big issue with, Roman Roman history is like when they started splitting the empire apart because it was too big. And then they started getting like co-leaders to like lead it. And they're like, you take the east side and I'll take the west side. That's when I really feel like things like hit the fan for the Roman Empire. Like, cause you can't have, because then they like went from like having two like counselors, like consuls running, like not counselors, consuls running like the show into like, then they had like a primary consul for like the Western and then like a second consul for the Western. And then there was like 4 of them running it like at the same time. It got crazy. Also, the Romans are like low-key insane, by the way. They really are. It is shocking that that nation not only became a nation, but then it was like one of the largest empires like on the face of the earth for a long time too. Like that's the thing. For as long as that like fire was burning in their capital, right? A name, I guess. Hiya, cutie. Thank you for the subscription. I like your username. Yeah, for like, as long as that like fire had been burning, like they still managed to keep it going. But God, it's like if... So like a couple of the things that I've learned about is like a couple of years they've had like 4, 5, and 6 emperors in a single year. Could you imagine power changing hands 6 times in a single year? That is insane. There was a 300-year gap between that. Yeah. I think they gloss over that part, though, because a lot of the historical records were, like, burned when Rome got sacked several times throughout its history. Like, I think, like, we still don't know exactly how Rome got started. Like, we have their, like, legend, right? But that's not historically accurate. In America, celebrating being a mere 250 years old. Hey! It was a fun social experiment for 250 years. Don't think it's going much further, you know, with the way that things are looking these days. But, you know, hey, it's what it is. It was a good run, I guess. It's weirdly funny how relevant Rome's Colosseum still is. There was one of the best drawings I've ever seen of the Tower of Babel, and I found out that the artist actually based it on the Roman Colosseum. Let me see if I can find that drawing, because it's really good. Tower of Babel. Images. Yes, there it is. Hold on, let me open the actual image. We can all look at it properly. And on screen, there it is. I love this painting. So this was based on the Roman Colosseum, from my understanding. What triggered YouTube this time? Ah, Stone Tower Temple from Majora's Mask. There you go. So this... if anybody doesn't know what the Tower of Babel was, what it was is it's a biblical like legend. I'm gonna use the term legend here. I think that's the appropriate way to describe this, but this is a legend from the Bible. And what it was to explain where language came from. So apparently everybody before creating the Tower of Babel all spoke the same language, which is how they were able to coordinate. And apparently they wanted to build like a tower to heaven. And I guess that pissed God off. So he was like, well, y'all can't work together if I like change your languages halfway through the project. So he did, and then they couldn't talk to each other anymore, and they all like got banished to like different corners of the earth. Anyways, that's like the gist of it. You'll have to read up for yourself for a more accurate like interpretation. But what I care about is the art. The art that is inspired from the legend. That's what I care more about. And this is some absolute phenomenal art. Like, even if you didn't know what it was, right? Like, that just looks really good. We should build a tower to the heavens. Nothing could go wrong at all, I swear. Hey, I was able to read that, Thomas. You know, Vice Rhino was right. The Bible's God is a cruel monster. They do not do a great job of selling me that, like, God is exactly a great person in those particular stories. Not that I'm, like, I've never been super religious, right? Like, I identify as, like, agnostic at best, right? So it's not like I am, like, at all an expert or really have anything much to say about it. But when it comes to the artwork related to it, I can get behind that. And again, this is a very amazing painting of the Tower of Babel. Hi, Viola. Oh, we're just looking at some artwork. We were talking about the Roman Colosseum, and I said, oh, I know a really great painting that was based on the Roman Colosseum, but they used it to paint the Tower of Babel instead. And now we're looking at that painting and just kind of just talking about stuff randomly. Yeah, the Bible is a messy story. And to be honest with you, like, I don't know. I'm not well versed on any of that stuff. I am definitely the wrong girl to be asking. Roman Colosseum. I'm personally more stoked for the Dimitri Colosseum. I don't think I've ever heard of that. Wait. Dimitri Colosseum. Dimitri Colosseum. What's that? Is that a thing? I don't know what that is. Is that a thing? Is that a real thing? I don't know if that's a thing or not. Thanks, Rome, for giving us the modern Bible. You know what's funny is, like, most of the Romans absolutely hated, like, other religions other than, like, the old stuff. As far as I'm aware, they were really, like, not very tolerable to, like, other people's religions. Hence the okay, alright. Fair enough. Okay, alright. That one just went right over my head. You got me there. It's not a thing. Roman is just a name. Okay, alright. You fooled me. You got me. Okay. So I didn't want to go too long on this particular stream because I do have some things that I want to get caught up with. So I'm going to probably wrap this up now. Things that are going on this week. Just as a reminder, I'm going to be working on the Pride video. That's going to be coming out on Life of Raining. We have got the Vox Libre thing coming up, Subnautica. I am also going to be scheduling Terraria and Amori for later this week for those who want to check that out as well. But I think that's going to do it for this live stream. Before I go, I do like to say a very special thank you to everybody who's been so supportive recently, especially last week. For those of you who caught that live stream where I was struggling a little bit because my microphone was not working correctly. I always appreciate everyone's love, support, even if it's not monetary, just being there and, being there for me and helping me out when I'm kind of struggling with stuff always means the most to me. So from the bottom of my heart to yours, thank you. But with all of that out of the way, thank you all so much for joining me for this live stream, and I hope everyone out there has a wonderful day.